And now to continue the Dawnguard, not Dawnguard, but the Vampire's quest of the Dawnguard DLC. Just gotten all of the Elder Scrolls.
You can't trust a word that comes out of Vingalmo's mouth. Remember that. No, and if you're smart, you won't either. I know he's one of your kind and all, but he's only looking out for himself. You find his fangs in your neck. Until next time.
The feast never ends here in Castle Volkahar.
We need strength, power, not magic. Elves don't seem to understand that.
If you need anything, never made it far in the companions, but I was. Didn't progress very far. Never did care for their attitude, acting like they're better than everyone else, but none of that matters now. Speak with Fura Bloodmouth. She has something for you.
I wish Orthiolf and Vingalmo would just get it over with and kill each other. Ugh, I'm tired of listening to them. Simple. He says kill, I kill. Sometimes he doesn't even have to say it. Enjoy your hunt.
You'll be a welcome addition to the court, I'm sure. If I may, let me offer you a piece of advice. Be careful who you trust. Not all of us have the court's best interests at heart. Orthiolf, for example. He'll tell you he means well, but believe me, he can't be trusted at all. Keep that in mind, will you? He claims to serve loyally, but he really covets the throne. He sees himself in charge someday. His ambition will justify any actions. Put your faith in him, and you will regret it, I promise you.
All right, then.
I hope you find life in the castle to be to your liking. Speak with Fura Bloodmouth. She has something for you.
Well, she didn't seem to have anything, so I guess
life here has many advantages. Don't you agree?
Yes. How may I serve you, milady? I am afraid I won't be able to help you with the scrolls any longer, milady. Please do not be angry with me. I'm afraid in my haste to read the first scroll, I neglected the time I needed to prepare. The failure is purely mine to bear. As you can see from my bandages, it's not that I am unwilling, it's that I am physically unable. Oh, please, milady, please, forgive me. If only such a miracle existed, I'd overcome the impossible in order to secure it, if it meant pleasing you. Although I would gladly die by your hand, perhaps I could offer an alternative way to read the scrolls. Oh, thank you, milady. Thank you. Scattered across Tamriel are secluded locations known only as Ancestor Glades. There's one in Skyrim in the Pine Forest. Performing the ritual of the Ancestor Moth within the glade should provide the answers you seek. It involves carefully removing the bark from a canticle tree, which will in turn attract ancestor moths to you. Once enough of the moths are following, they'll provide you with the second sight needed to decipher the scrolls. You must use a specific tool in the Ancestor Glade, an implement known as a draw knife. Every moth priest is taught this ritual, but few ever get the chance to perform it. You should consider yourself fortunate if it works for you. From what I saw in the vision, the Elder Scroll which foreshadows the defiance of the gods with the blood of mortals is the key to the prophecy. Sadly, yes. It is the inevitable fate we agree to pursue when reading the Elder Scrolls. It generally does not occur until a moth priest is in his latter years, but in my case, I simply was not preparing myself properly. Deciphering one of the Elder Scrolls is nothing like reading a simple book. There is quite a bit of ritual and concentration required. It can take months or even years to complete a single scroll, and even then, months to recover. Well, as I'm sure you've figured out by now, it's no mere coincidence that we're named Moth Priests. The voice of the Ancestor Moth has always been an integral part of reading the Elder Scrolls. Oh, the moths don't literally read the scrolls, but they maintain a connection to ancient magic that allows the moth priests to decipher them. If you listen closely when you find the glade, you should be able to hear their song, a soft, harmonious trilling. It's through this ancestral chorus that the moths tap into a form of primal augur and become a conduit for deciphering the scrolls. By having the ancestor moths close to the moth priest, they can utilize the conduit and share the moth's augury. Only the most resilient of priests can do it this way. It takes years of practice to interpret the harmony. You've come this far, and you've found several Elder Scrolls. Whether you believe it or not, the scrolls have a mind of their own. If they did not want you to find them, they would not allow it. Because of this, I strongly believe you were meant to hear the ancestral chorus. Only one way to find out. Fortune smile upon you, milady.
I should be able to get there in time before it's daylight. Hi, and thanks for watching, and thank you for the like too. So far this too also seems pretty much identical to the Dawnguard one. Likely I'm going to be facing Dawnguard in the Moth Glade rather than vampires as I did on the Dawnguard side. In this direction somewhere, or not. That's weird. Oh, the Ancestral Grove is way down here, same place as before. I need to get the Falkreath. Or near Falkreath to get to it. Or if you want to have a lot more enemies fighting you, because the vampires that you run into over the course of the game, they don't stop from attacking you.
You there!
Because of the
Traveler!
nature of
Over here! That's close. Here we go!
of the vampire politics. Whereas with the Dawnguard, you don't have the same type of politics involved. Well, technically you do, because there are some vampires that will become part of courts in Skyrim, but usually it's you removing them. Just running by Solitude. apparently I was wrong. It's now 5 a.m. That should be okay as long as I avoid combat. Actually, that was the way I needed to go. Next stop is Rorikstead. I'll be traveling through there, as I prefer to get to the cave before anything does happen. Unlike some earlier ones, I won't start losing health immediately. Not at the level of vampirism on that. I might not even, if I go up to the highest level of vampirism. However, I won't regenerate, which is the major concern. Interestingly enough, the two people who work this mill are both vampires. The moth cave is on the other side of the Falklands. Looks like I may not be able to get up. Maybe. Just need a little bit of leverage. No, it's not gonna be enough. Nope, it actually is. I'll do it. Okay, I'm at the Ancestral Glade.
Not very impressive, is it? If this ends up being a wasted trip, your friend Dexian and I are gonna have some words when we get back. Wow. Look at this place. No one's been here in centuries. I doubt there's any other place like it in Skyrim. It's beautiful. Well, we got the knife. Now all we need to do is track down one of those canticle trees. Hope the moths like that bark as much as Dexian said they would.
Now it's just a matter of walking near
They've
the
definitely
moss.
taken a liking to you. And unless I'm seeing things, they're starting to...
Since I'm not technically outside, even being in sunlight like this is not as much of a problem. Which sounds strange, but you know.
Are you okay? Almost thought I lost you there. You went as white as the snow. I never trusted those damn scrolls. Who knows what those things could have done to you? Just look at Dexian. What about Ariel's bow? Do you know where we can find it? Then it's almost over. We can finally rewrite the prophecy as we see fit. Where is this Darkfall cave? Then let's get going. I want to get there before my father has a chance to track us down. Not much. If you read any history, it shows up from time to time, but it's a hard thing to track. As far as I know, though, it's never been held by a vampire. That would be a new one. Ariel is one of the elven gods. He's with the rest of them in Aetherius. The way I've heard it, the sun represents the connection from our world to theirs. Supposedly, the bow draws its energy from the sun itself, which is why it shows up in that prophecy. And that part, I don't know. Once we have it, hopefully it'll be obvious.
And we're being attacked.
Where'd you come from?
Flame Antioch should help out against any trolls that send against me. These trolls really do hate flames. I should, I hope, get more steel bolts from these guys. No. I only had a net gain, I think, of maybe 2 or 3. There's still enemies nearby. I have to take them out before I can wait.
Burn it!
Burn them at fire!
Okay, I can get more arrows from or bolts, I should call it.
That'll teach you.
Okay, I should be vulnerable just for a little bit of time, and that is between 6:46 until 7 p.m. Where I'm headed to is near Markoth. Thought I would have. Well, actually, it's closer to Solitude from the looks of it. I don't know what type of welcome I'll be getting from the farmer that's there. Farmer being the original name for it. Although the one that's there prefers to be called Snow Elf. Oh, they're after me because of the Emperor. They are basically the Empire's special forces. Or the equivalent of such.
Can't hide from me.
It's not that bad.
This Imperial armor is damn heavy.
Not much, just doing the vampire side of the Dawnguard DLC. I'm about to do the quest line Touching the Sky, which will take me into Farmer territory. It says Skyrim. or Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Oh, my quest is I'm looking for Ariel's bow, and part of the Dawnguard DLC on the vampire side of it. The quest lines are pretty much very similar to both the Dawnguard or the vampires. The only major difference being the opponents you face, and I suppose the theme of it. And it's the quest line touching the sky. This will lead me to a new map, or I guess you could say a smaller map with a Valley of the Snow Elves or the Falmer. Oh no, it's not going to be 15 minutes. I've completed it as a Dawnguard, and it is most definitely not 15 minutes. Not only that, but I'm going to be facing 2 dragons as well. Twin dragons, in fact. The horse that I'm riding is one of the major reasons to do the Dawnguard DLC, regardless of whatever side you join. Once you're in a soul care, and you can summon Arvak And you can summon Arvak wherever and whenever you want to. Which basically means you have a horse that, even if the horse dies, you can summon another one. You can summon Arvak again because basically Arvak's soul is stuck in the Soul Cairn. So he really can't be killed.
Not impressed.
I'm guessing though that this one might not change at all in terms of exactly who I'm going to run into, because I didn't run into any vampires during this quest when I played as Dawnguard, only for armor. Are real.
Keep your eyes open here.
Fortunately, one of the weaknesses to the older forms of vampirism does not apply, and that is moving water. Older forms of vampirism must add that they couldn't cross moving water.
Who's there? You know I heard something. Done and done.
Let's see how badly I'm gonna get lost here. Alright, I'm not lost
These
anymore.
people were... Why would anyone want to set up camp here? Happened to them?
What happened to them is trolls. And there's a trap right here that Serana's going to, well, I'm going to trip right over instead of jump over it. Sometimes jumping can be a bit wonky.
I don't like the look of this.
One troll down. Now this one. I think there are only two in this area. And there's a snow elf.
What's that?
Come forward. You have nothing to fear here. I am Knight Paladin Gelabor. Welcome to the great chantry of Auriel. Auriel, Auriel, Alkosh, Akatosh, so many different names for the sovereign of the Snow Elves. I prefer Snow Elf. The name Falmer usually holds a negative meaning to most travelers. Those twisted creatures you call Falmer, I call the Betrayed. Of course, you're here for Auriel's bow. Why else would you be here? I can help you get it, but first, I must have your assistance. I need you to kill Archcurate Vertha, my brother. The kinship between us is gone. I don't understand what he's become, but he's no longer the brother I once knew. It was the Betrayed. They did something to him. I just don't know why Auriel would allow this to happen. They swept into the chantry without warning, and began killing everyone without pause. The chantry was a place of peaceful worship. I led a small group of paladins, but we were no match for the Betrayed's sheer numbers. They slaughtered everyone, and stormed the inner sanctum where I believe they corrupted Vertha. He's alive. I've seen him, but something's wrong. He never looks as though he's in pain or under duress. He just stands there and watches, as though waiting. Leaving the way shrines unguarded would be violating my sacred duty as a Knight Paladin of Auriel, and an assault on the Betrayed guarding the inner sanctum would only end with my death. Yes, let me show you.
It's interesting that he hasn't commented on the fact that I'm a vampire. Actually, come to think of it, he didn't even mention Serana.
So this is snow. Incredible.
When I was on the Dawnguard side.
This structure is known as a way shrine. They were used for meditation and for transport when the Chantry was a place of enlightenment. Prelates of these shrines were charged with teaching the mantras of Auriel to our initiates.
What's that basin in the center signify?
Once the initiate completed his mantras, he'd dip a ceremonial ewer in the basin at the way shrine's center and proceed to the next way shrine.
So these initiates had to lug around a heavy pitcher of water. Marvelous. How long would they have to do that?
Well, once the initiate's enlightenment was complete, he'd bring the ewer to the Chantry's inner sanctum. Pouring the contents of the ewer into the sacred basin of the sanctum would allow him to enter for an audience with the Archcurate himself.
All that just to end up dumping it out? It makes no sense to me.
It's symbolic. I don't expect you to understand.
So, let's get this straight. We need to do all that nonsense to get into the temples so we can kill your brother and claim Ariel's bow.
I know how it all sounds. But if there was another way, I'd have done it long ago. The only way to get to my brother is by following in the Initiate's footsteps and traveling from way shrine to way shrine, just as they did. The first lay at the end of Darkfall Passage, a cavern that represents the absence of enlightenment. There are 5 in total, spread far apart across the Chantry. Caves? Oh no. The Chantry encompasses far more than a few caves, as you'll soon discover. But before I send you on your way, you'll need the Initiate's ewer. Once you've located a way shrine, there'll be a spectral prelate tending to it. They will allow you to draw the waters from the shrine's basin, as if you've been enlightened. This may be the last time we're able to converse. If you have any questions before you leave, I suggest you ask them. Otherwise, all I can do now is grant you my hopes for a safe journey.
Okay. I'm going to take a short break and I'll be right back.